Welcome back to Release Your Inner Power podcast with me, Shauna B. And before we dive in, I need you to know something important. We are officially in phase 3. And this phase, this is where things start to feel a little bit different. Up until now, we've done some deep work. We've looked at the stories in our heads, the patterns that we've been stuck in, and the way we talk to ourselves when life feels super heavy. Or even just a little bit heavy. And if you've been nodding along and thinking, yep, that's me, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Phase 3 is all about self-care that actually works. Not the Instagram perfect bubble bath only version of self-care. We're talking real life, busy life, tired but still showing up for everyone kind of self-care. This pillar is about learning how to support you in a way that fits your season, not forcing routines that don't match your energy, not adding more to your plate and calling it growth, and definitely not shaming yourself for needing rest or space or a reset. In this phase, we're focusing on things like how to calm the overwhelm without disappearing from your life completely, or where your energy is leaking out, because yes, that's totally a thing. Moving your body, feeding yourself, and caring for yourself without the pressure of getting it perfectly right. And creating a small, doable reset or resets that actually make a difference. This is the phase where you stop asking, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And start asking, what do I need right now? So if you're craving relief, if you're tired of white knuckling it through the week, or if you want to feel more like yourself again without blowing up your whole life, you are in the right place. Today, we are talking about something I hear all the time. Why does self-care feel like such a chore? Just another thing to do. Like, why does something that's supposed to help you feel better feel like just one more thing that you're either failing at or you have to do? Or like you're swimming up a flippin' waterfall? And more importantly, how do we turn self-care into something you actually want to do? Right? This episode is real talk, no fluff, no pressure, just honest conversation, tools that you can use today, and a gentle challenge for the week that won't send you running in the other direction. So grab your coffee, take a breath, and let's get into it. Let's just say the quiet part out loud. Self-care feels like a chore because most of what we've been taught isn't self-care. It's self-maintenance wrapped up in perfectionism. And somewhere along the way, self-care turned into morning routines that take 90 minutes, journaling every day, or you're doing it wrong, or bubble baths when you actually need to take a nap or set a boundary, or spending money you don't have on things you don't even enjoy. And then we wonder why we avoid it. Because here's the truth. Self-care doesn't feel supportive when it's rooted in shoulds. Most women I work with hate self-care. Like, ugh, I know I have to do that. I have to do the thing. I know I should do the thing, right? They hate forced self-care. They hate being told what they need instead of being asked. They hate trying to relax while mentally tracking and checking everything that I need to do this, I need to do that, like reminding ourselves, our running lists in our heads that we have all the time. They hate using self-care as another way to fix themselves. And let's be honest, when you're already exhausted, overwhelmed, or totally tapped out emotionally, even good things can feel heavy. They can feel too much. They can feel like, man, I don't really want to do that. Self-care starts to feel like a chore when you're disconnected from your body, when you're living on autopilot, when you're stuck on that hamster wheel of life. when you are giving to everyone else first and sacrificing you, when you're using self-care to cope instead of support. And if you're nodding right now, I want you to hear this. Clearly, there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Okay. I want to share a little something personal here. So there was a season in my life where I was doing all these self-care things. I was checking all the boxes. I was drinking the water. I was trying the routines. I was listening to the podcasts. I was reading the books. And yet I still felt tired and resentful and honestly annoyed because I felt like none of it was working. And one night, I remember laying in bed and just asking myself, why am I so frustrated? When like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, shouldn't I feel better by now? Shouldn't I feel different by now? And that's when it hit me. I wasn't asking myself, what do I need? I felt like I was asking, you know, expectations. I was asking some imaginary version of who I thought I should be by now, because I was putting it all on my timeline, right? I wasn't running on right now. I wasn't running on reality. I wasn't running on today. I was running on what I thought and where I thought I should be right now because I'm checking the boxes. My self-care is turning into not being about care. It started to become about control and a quick fix, a band-aid, and on to the next. And I was trying to manage my exhaustion instead of listening to it. That was the turning point for me because real self-care didn't start until I stopped forcing myself into someone else's version or someone else's timeline of healing. So let's do some information gathering on some real reasons self-care don't stick, okay? Let's start by saying this in a way that might feel a little bit different, right? Like self-care isn't something you add, it's something you align with you. Because self-care fails when you have to perform it for somebody else or disconnected from your real life, like doing something that is not in alignment with you. Like if you're not a person that goes on hikes to relieve your stress and that's just not your jam, don't just pick a hike to go do that if it's not your jam, right? Now again, if you've never done it before and you want to stick a toe in to try something new because it could be, that's different. But if you've done it and you know it's not your jam, don't do something that's not for you because others say that it works for them. Self-care fails when it's designed for who you wish you were instead of who you actually are. And this is why this phase matters so much because after learning to hear your inner voice, like in phase two, now we ask what actually supports me in this season of my life? What needs my attention today in this moment? Not forever and not all perfectly, just right now. Here's a reframe that can change everything. Okay. Self-care isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about feeling supported more of the time. It's about building a foundation to stand on one brick at a time. Sometimes self-care looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like movement. Sometimes it looks like saying no. And sometimes it looks like asking for help. Maybe it could even be doing less and not more. Each little brick will build on itself to build that foundation. Because at the end of the week, each little thing that you do, right? At the end of the week, when you check in, you realize each one has had a part in building that foundation on how you feel now. Celebrate that. Celebrate that. You have come a long way. It might not feel like a big, huge shift, but it's happening. It's happening, my friend. Change is happening. I want to dive in some tools here for your toolbox. I want to make them practical, things that you can use today. Tool number one, what do I need? Check in. Once a day, I want you to ask yourself this question. No fixing, no judging. What do I need right now? That's it. That is it. Sometimes the answer will be simple. Sometimes the answer is uncomfortable, but this question reconnects you to yourself faster than any routine. Tool number two, let's call it minimum effective dose. That's all I can think of. Minimum effective dose. So self-care doesn't need to be this big, huge thing to be effective. It could literally be getting up from your desk and moving away from your space or walking out of the room. It doesn't need to be like, I have to go hike 5 miles. You see what I'm saying? So ask yourself, what's the smallest thing that would help me feel 5% better? 5% counts. It's that one brick that you're laying down for your foundation. Drink water, step outside, unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders. Don't wear them as earrings anymore. Sit down. Stop waiting for the motivation. Support creates the momentum. Tool number three, energy-based self-care. Instead of asking what you should do, ask, am I mentally tired? Am I emotionally tired? Am I physically tired? Then match the care to the exhaustion. Mental fatigue doesn't need a workout. Emotional fatigue doesn't need productivity. Physical fatigue doesn't need discipline. See what I mean? Tool number four, remove something before you add something. Sometimes the most loving self-care move is, what can I take off my plate? Self-care isn't always about adding things in. Sometimes it's about removing pressure. Sometimes it's about taking something off of your plate that can make a huge difference. Take these 4 tools and add them into your toolbox while we move into the challenge for the week. And I promise it's gentle, okay? So for the next 7 days, let's not call it self-care. Let's call it self-support. Each day, do one thing that supports you. Not impresses, not fixes, just supports. And at the end of the day, ask, did I support myself today? That's the win. Okay? Here's what I want you to walk away with. Self-care doesn't have to feel like a chore. It feels heavy when it's disconnected from you. This phase is all about learning how to care for yourself in a way that fits your real life, not someone else's highlight reel. And you don't need to overhaul everything. You don't need to perfect a routine. You just need a relationship with yourself that's honest and kind and sustainable. And that's exactly where we're going next. So if this episode landed for you, sit with it. Try the tools. Take the challenge. And remember, one little step, one brick at a time to get you to your next level. You've totally got this. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, learned something new, or got some gems to take away that will boost your week. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to click that follow button to not miss what is coming next. If you love the show or want to share a story, send me a quick message. I love hearing from listeners. If you know someone who needs this episode in their life, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. If you are looking to connect more, check out the show notes for all the social links, my website. I would love to hear how this episode helped you and what you loved about it. If there's a topic you want to hear about, send that too. All right, ladies, now is the time to release your inner power. Are you feeling like you're behind or something's off, or you've tried to do something new and you just can't get on that wagon? You just keep falling off? Guess what? You're human and life doesn't follow a perfect timeline. Maybe the year didn't start the way that you hoped. Maybe your goals got buried under real life stuff. But here's the truth. You're allowed to begin again anytime you want, whether it's July, September, December, January. Progress doesn't have a deadline. That's why now is the perfect time to join Empower Her. We meet you where you are, help you build momentum, and remind you that you don't have to do this alone. There's still so much time left. Let's make it count together.